on, everybody? Got Idris here.
What's going on, man?
Man, nothing, man. It's so good to have you here.
Man, I'm glad to be here. Finally, we've been going back and forth for the past few months, but we finally got here.
Yeah, man. So I'm elated that I was a part of this greatness that you just released to the world. So let's talk about what you just released. You just released a film.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
All right. So the film is called Forgiveness. You, of course, Mr. Darby, was the music composer for it and made it stand out more than what it is. But the movie is called Forgiveness. It's about a man named Major Thomas. He's a real estate mogul, has everything, but loses everything due to a car accident where he has to go back home with his mother, who gave him up when he was younger for drug addiction, due to a drug addiction. In that process, is 6 months, during the 6 month time frame, as he's recuperating, his longtime girlfriend model sells his company. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, he of course is upset at her, at his mother, because they haven't haven't come to pretty much an agreement to what's going on in their life, and then that's where he picks up, kind of loses everything, and loses himself, and the only person that he really trusts is his best friend Malik. And Malik keeps him grounded.
That's cool, man. Well, so without spoiling the film, but that's really the essence of it. Let's go into the background of the film, if you would.
Sure.
Like, where did this stem from? Like the writing style. Like, where did this come from?
All right. So the writing style itself, the title itself, it came from Ebony the Baby Jumper Dixon and I. We were talking. If y'all don't know, Baby Jumper. Shout out to the Baby Jumper.
Dope.
We were talking. I was trying to come up with a title because she and my mother helped edit it, and we were trying to come up with a title. And we was just, it's just a lot of things talking about forgiveness in it. And he was like, yeah, well, forgiveness is good. And I was like, yeah, forgiveness is good. Let's make it a title. And that's how the title came out.
Cool.
But the actual writing itself really stemmed from things that I had to go through in my life, like really forgiving people. It was a situation with I had to forgive myself for blaming myself for something that I couldn't change. I had to forgive my mother for something that she didn't know that she couldn't change. There was so many things. That my uncle had a truck that I was looking to restore that my dad had left me, and he was selling his company. He's selling his mechanic shop, and the truck got taken away. So I had to forgive him. It wasn't his fault. He told me I needed to come get it. I didn't get there in time. So I had to forgive him for that. So many different things where I had to forgive people for. And I just kind of, being an artist, period, I just, writing is always something I went to. And that's where I just kind of poured out everything. And it's just the story itself was just something that I could see somebody else going through, but also putting small pieces of my life in it, things that I've been through. Because right now I'm remarried now, but I was divorced. I was just going through the separation while writing this. So it's things like I had to forgive her for. Yeah. So it was so many different things about forgiveness that I had to just kind of get out on paper, trying to get it off of me. Gotcha. And once I started, and it just turned into this story about one person that just needed to forgive everybody. And it was something my mother said after I let her see the rough copy. She was like, the one thing that I didn't see, she said, he had to forgive himself in order to forgive everybody else. He really wasn't mad at anybody else but himself.
Wow.
And I wrote it. I was like, I didn't even get that. And that's something that I had to do. I had to forgive myself and learn to love myself all over again, because at one point I was just living for my children. So I had to really forgive myself, learn to love myself so that I can be a good dad for my children, not just be the guy that's loving his children because he needs his children to live.
Wow, that's interesting.
So that's where a lot of things kind of stemmed into, and I had some friends that that were just there through everything, that supported me. I had some friends that had, moved on to whatever they had to go on with their life. Couldn't be there too a lot, but spiritually supported me. So forgiveness is just something that I had to deal with.
Got you, man. That's big, especially when you talked about the fact that you were just living for your kids. Yeah. It was almost like you was just existing.
Right.
So what you're saying, and feel free to reiterate.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying is, when you holding grudges or either not forgiving is a type of bondage.
Very much so. Very much so. Pretty much, and it's funny because biblically, the Bible says if you can't forgive somebody, you won't be forgiven. So not only if you're in bondage here mentally, because it's a mental thing, and it's one of the hardest things to let go of. So, like for instance, anytime somebody does anything to you, hold a grudge against them, that person is sleeping every night. You're the person that's mad at them, upset at them, having dreams about them, nightmares or whatever.
Putting these different scenarios in your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
when you forgive them and just let it go, it's like, it's what it is.
It's a thing of a past.
I'm done. And then it's like a weight lifted off your shoulder.
Yeah.
So, and like the hardest thing is forgiving. I don't understand why it is so hard, but we'll say, people will say, I'm sorry. And you think that it's over with, but something may happen to them 10 years later that brings up that same thing that somebody else did to them. And it's so heartbreaking and so rough against them. And it's like, I thought I had left that over, but you really didn't forgive the person. You just told them you were sorry. You didn't apologize.
Wow.
So that's one of the biggest things. So that bondage, and then of course, you can't get into heaven without forgiving. That's just word, man. So that was another thing. Being saved is like you just like God's like, man, you got to do it. If you don't do it, you can't come chill with me. And if you want to chill with me, you better forgive. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't like the heat here in South Carolina, so I know I can't handle it. And, you know what I'm saying? I know I can't handle it there. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get where I got to get to.
Oh man, I get it.
What I mean?
I get it. So, but it frees you though. Like even living on Earth, the purposes and things that we have to do here. Yeah, you don't want to live in bondage. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's crazy. Because sometimes what end up happening even in the film case, because I had the pleasure of watching the film, and you should go see it. The people that he was holding grudges against or not forgiving was the very people that was trying to help him.
Exactly, and that was the craziest part about it. When you watch the movie, you see his transition before he even forgives his mother. You see him beginning to let go of things and understanding what happened wasn't because she didn't love him. It wasn't because she didn't care for him. It was all because she did. And it's like, when you see the movie, it puts it all in perspective.
All in perspective.
But you see him, pushing away everybody that's trying to care about him. And the only person that really could talk to him is his best friend. And it's like, why can't you listen to anybody else? But we do that. We do that in life. I've done that. I wouldn't listen to nobody else except 1-2 people that would come to me and say, "Yo, you're wrong, right?" And it's like, how? How was I wrong? It's like, this is what you did. This is what you did. And then I was like, okay. I go back and I apologize. I will go apologize. And the person was like, well, it's cool, And then we have a conversation. And then when you have a conversation, it's like, oh man, that's what it was. It was something smaller than what we make it. Right. So a lot of times a situation that you think is huge is really not that huge. It's something very small that you could have just sat down with the person and said, this is what it is. Yeah. Let's deal with it.
Wow. That is crazy. Yeah. All right, it's cool. So that's the film. Before we go into the next part, how can we see the film?
Okay, so
now that the premiere is over, I'm sorry you guys missed it. It's my fault because we were supposed to do this a little while ago, but it's all good. You can still see the film, and how can we do that?
Okay, so now you can pre-order the film. If you inbox me on Facebook, or you can get with me on all social media outlets. I can get you. You can pre-order the film. I get you someone sent out to you. Actually, we're thinking about bringing the premiere back here in Columbia later on.
That'd be dope.
We're probably kind of going on a little tour. We're looking to actually go to Charlotte April 6th. So
Cool.
we're going to see if that works out. If that works out, we'll be in Charlotte April 6th, and then we'll probably come back here. We'll come back here to Columbia and do another one. So you may not have missed it. But
you may not have missed it. We might be right in the sweet spot.
You might be right in that gray area. But if you are not able to, if anybody's on the West Coast that want to get a copy of it, hit me up. We'll pre-order it and we'll get you one sent out.
Gotcha. The biggest thing. Gotcha. Is there any way that like people that just because we have people that are fans of film, we have people that just like to donate to people who are doing things, and is there any way that someone can donate to your cause? Sure, man. If they would like to donate, please cash at me at $Forgiveness Movie. That'll do everything. I do have a PayPal. For some reason PayPal has just been acting crazy recently, but the Cash App has been working out. Inbox me. I'll make something happen. I do have a GoFundMe page for the Forgiveness Movie. Not sure if it's still up, but hopefully it is. But inbox me. Let's talk about some things. Maybe we can work together too, to bring it out to your area. If we can make it happen, let's make it happen. Cool. So, this is not his first film. Let's go back to the let's not really do a compare. Yeah, let's do a comparison. Because we grow in our field. Right. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about putting on the first film. Mm-hmm. And now you got the second film. Like, what are some of the things that is different? What are some of the things that you learned?
Oh, man. Okay, so the first film is called Are You In or Out? It's on YouTube now. You can check that out. The very first thing I learned as a director is continuity and consistency. Those are the top two things that I learned. If you did it this way the first time, you got to do it the exact same way every time, over and over again. So that's one thing that I learned. On set, I learned to block spaces, block how it's supposed to be, sit down and go over what we're going to go through. The 180 rule, I've learned so much about the film doing that and we released the first one maybe 5 years ago this June. But I've directed other films and I learned so much, but the very first thing is that continuity and consistency.
It's important.
If you have the phone on this side of your head the first time, and if it's on this side of your head the second time, you got to do that over because man, it people see that. So that's number one. Another thing is just my writing style. I've become a better writer. Understanding what the audience wants. Because as a writer, I see things differently than a consumer does. So being able to have a project that is not very predictable, something that people can say, okay, I didn't see that coming. That's one thing that I've learned to do better and will be doing better in the future. And just making sure wardrobe is right, making sure just everything is on point because people notice details. Then it's be the smallest thing if your hair is on this side of your head and it's supposed to be on this side, people will see that. Right. So just being consistent is one of the major thing that I've learned in everything. Wow. In this whole process. And this is just the beginning. This is the second film, but this one was better. It was so much better than the first one, man.
Learn from it.
I learned a lot, and it's not not saying that the first one wasn't good. It still was good. It still had a good storyline. It's just things that I didn't know the first time around that I know better now. Right. Emotions, being able to emotionally pick up something somewhere you're supposed to be mad and you're not mad, or where you're mad and not supposed to be. It's so many different things that I've learned in the past 5 years. That's okay, now I know it won't happen again. That's cool. Where we at.
That's cool. That's super cool. So far as you saying that, of course, this is not the last one. Let's pick your mind. What is to come?
Okay, so
what is to come?
with forgiveness, like forgiveness right now, we're going to put it in a circuit of film festivals.
Okay. How does that work?
All right, so we're going to submit to different festivals, pay for it, and see if they pick it up to be judged, and then they'll be chosen to win if they win. Some win money, some don't. Some is just just good exposure.
Right.
Just to get the film out there. Some people are there to see those films and may put funds to either make it a feature film or do something else. What I started to do with it was make it a feature film, but because it's so much that how my mind works, it's like so many different things that I see. And it was like after the premiere Saturday, people was like, it's not long enough. I wanted to know more what happened with that 6-month time frame. I want to happen with that year time frame. So I'm thinking about making an actual TV series.
Okay.
And then and picking it up with like what happened during the time frame of why he was in the hospital, what made his mother come back to us, things like that. So when you watch the film, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. But
I'm very interested in seeing that. For sure.
So that's where my mind is with the forgiveness. I'm in the process of writing another film called To Serve and Protect. And that one, the synopsis of that one is there's a detective where he's married right now. He was married. His wife gets killed, and he has to go back, and the person that killed him or set up to kill his wife, he has to is being put in a witness protection program, and he doesn't know that that's the person behind it.
Wow.
And he finds that out later on during the process. So that's what we're in the process of writing now.
Wow.
And then also,
how can we fund that film? I mean, that sounds really good.
I want to make that one a feature film because there's so much detail that I want to have with this one. So I mean, I'm praying that this thing goes well with Mayor Benjamin, where we can be able to get funds, grant wise for the city. Because I will shoot it here in Columbia. Everything that we've done has been shot here in Columbia. So a lot of locations that you may see on the film, you're like, oh man, I know what that is. So yeah, it's right here in Columbia. So that'd be great if we can get the grants. If people would like to invest into it, please reach out to me. Let's come up with some kind of contract and sit down and make this happen.
That sounds really especially the climate we are in now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we see the point of view of a police officer, the personal life, and just like the title, to protect and serve, what their job is. So man, that's gonna be really, really interesting to see, that point of view.
I think with that itself, and it's a plot. This one is going to have the twists and turns in this one. It's going to be so amazing, because it's as you say, because you're going to see something that I deal with depression. I've dealt with depression, so I've had suicidal thoughts. Like when I was talking earlier, when I was talking about how I live for my kids. I say my children saved my life. My daughter literally saved my life.
Wow!
It was right after my separation, man. It was like I was in the point where I just wanted to give it all up.
Gotcha.
And I was literally driving on 77, passing on the Ferry Road, and I was just going to drive off. And my daughter called. My ex-wife called me. My daughter was like, "Hey, Dad, I just want to say I love you." Now she's 2 or 3 years old. So it's like that changed everything.
Wow.
So that's why when I say I was living for my children, I literally was living for my children.
Wow.
And so this man has to deal with depression because he loses his wife, and I'm gonna throw this in there. She was pregnant.
Wow.
So not only does he lose his wife, he loses his first child.
Wow.
So he deals with depression and I don't want to go into too much detail.
That's crazy.
Because it's like he's literally on the point where he just wants to just give it up and oh man, because if I keep going, I'm gonna tell everything.
I get it,
but
man.
it's just one of those movies where as a man, we protect. Period. So being a protector is something that we are just drilled in us to do. It's in DNA. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For him to protect this person that he has to protect, and then find out later that this person had his wife killed. It's like,
Wow.
how do you deal with that and still be able to keep your sanity, keep your job,
Man.
because it's something that you love doing.
Man, yeah, that's crazy.
So it's going to be crazy.
That's
and then,
crazy.
I'm
excited about that.
In the process of that, like I said, that's going to be a full length. So it's going to be a movie. Also, hopefully next year I'll be releasing my first book.
Cool.
And my final album and music. But it's going to be a visual with it as well. It's going to I'm naming it Hindsight 2020. So everything, the book will be named that, the project will be named that, and also the visual it was going to be a short film named that as well.
Wow.
And it's about me, so you'll be able to learn who I am in this process.
Cool. How can we connect with you on Facebook and are you on Facebook?
I'm on
Instagram?
Facebook. Facebook is Idris Pearson, IDRIS. Ice is spelled with 2 I's, IICE, and last name is Pearson, PEARSON. On IG, it is Idris_E Pearson, and on Twitter, it is ICE 803. So that's where you can get me on all social media.
Cool.
I'm on LinkedIn as well. If you guys want to talk some business, you can get me I'm on LinkedIn.
Cool.
Idris Pearson.
So where did ice come from? Last question. Where did ice come from?
Ice is okay. So ice came from when I was younger. I wore a lot of jewelry. Like I was in
Okay.
So I had a lot. I would go to the little kiosk in the middle of the mall.
Yeah,
I was balling,
yeah.
get a little change and everything. And that's where ice came from. Dude used to call me Iceman all the time in school. So I kept it going. But when I got saved, and somebody told me that I with 2 I's, because you have Ice Cube, you have Ice T, you have, you know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of Ices, but you have I with 2 I's is really unique. So as I got saved, I was trying to figure out, okay, do I want to keep the name Ice or not? And I first prayed about it and kept the name Ice, but it's an acronym which stands for Entreat in Christ's Excellence. So that's what it stands for, because how God does things recently, man, it's just been blowing my mind, and I just want to be excellent at everything He has me doing. So that's where it is now. It started from nothing and just became something.
Yeah. I mean, it was purpose from the beginning.
Yeah, had to be, man.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Idris Ice Pearson, thank you for being a part of this show.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.